Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillahi ala ni'matul Islami wa kafa biha nema. All praise and gratitude be to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on His blessing of Islam, which suffices as a blessing. So I'd like to welcome you on the 23rd para. We are halfway through that and we are looking at Surah As-Saffat. Inshallah, today we'll begin with Ayat 149 of the Surah. Saffat literally means ranks or those in ranks, and it's a Makkan Surah. It's all about faith building. So, A'udhu Billahi Minash Shaitanir Rajim. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Fastaftihim Ali Rabbikal Banatu Walahumul Banun. In the name of Allah, the most beneficent, the most merciful, you ask them, does your Rabb have daughters while they have sons? So, this surah, surah began with this topic about, this false belief of angels being daughters of Allah. And towards the end also, we are almost like recapping, referring to the same belief that angels, whether angels are daughters of Allah or not, and that's a false belief that people had. Or had we created angels as female while they were witnessing? So were you seeing that Allah was creating them as a female? That's a question that Allah throws over here. This is clearly a kind of a ridiculous claim, and that these people are making. There is no witness to this, there is no written proof to this, and it's not really acceptable even to the common sense. Surely it is of their own lies that they say, Allah has children and they are absolute liars. Has He chosen daughters in preference to sons? What is the matter with you? How arbitrarily do you judge? Will you not reflect, or is it that there is some clear proof with you? Then bring your book if you are truthful. And they have made up between him and jinn some kingship, while jinns already know that they are bound to be seized. Glory be to Allah from what they ascribe. Now some of these people were also claiming that there was a relationship between jinns and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and as a result the angels were created, and Quran says this is clearly a preposterous belief. It is without any basis. And how can jinns be relatives of Allah? Jinns know that they will be called to give account of their deeds. There is no preferential treatment in the court of Allah, except Allah's chosen servants. So you and those whom you worship, none of you can make anyone turn away from Him. So all this is about the right Aqidah. Everything is about right Aqidah. Wrong Aqidah is a catastrophe. It can have serious consequences and serious disaster. Except him who is to burn in hell. So wrong Aqidah only of those who are putting themselves in grave problem. And the next ayat we are looking at after this, the next ayat is referring to the words of the angel, and the correct position of angels is being explained. And which means the angels say, there is no one among us who does not have a known station, and verily we are those who stand in rows. Again, Saffat may be the word of the surah coming from here. And verily we are those who declare glory. So angels are not independent creation of Allah. They have been designated to do a specific task, and they remain busy in doing that. And surely they, which means referring to the pagans, used to say, if we had a reminder with us from those before us, we would have certainly been Allah's chosen servants. So the kuffar of Makkah claimed that if the message had come to them, they would have been devoted and they would have been rightly guided. Then they disbelieved in it as soon as they will come to know. And our word has already come to pass in favor of our servants, the messengers. They would be certainly assisted, and really it is our army that prevails. So Allah makes it very clear, make no mistake, that the messengers will be helped, and this is what also history shows us. History shows that despite all power, despite all might, army, technology, glory, zalims were ultimately destroyed. And on the other hand, Prophet and their followers, though numerically they were weak and they were lacking the means to overwhelm their enemy, yet in the end they were able to prevail and succeed. So withdraw your attention from them for some time and watch them, so that they too shall see. They are asking for our punishment to come sooner. So this is a demand of people, bring the azab on us. So azab is not something that people need to ask and do farmaish for. If people have to ask, they should ask for guidance, they should ask for goodness, they should ask for peace. So when it will descend in their courtyard, then evil will be the morning of those warned. So often we find calamities coming in the early hours of the morning. So withdraw your attention from them for some time and watch, we too will see. So people will see how truth prevails in this world and also in the hereafter. Subhana Rabbika Rabbil Izzati Amma Yasifun, and glory be to your Rabb, the Rabb of all might and honor from what they ascribe. Wassalamun alal mursaleen, and peace be upon the messengers. Walhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, and praised is Allah, the Rabb of the worlds. And this is the last ayah. This is where Surah Saffat ends. Now these last three ayahs that I just recited, there's a saying of Hazrat Ali Radiallahu Anhu, and he said that those who want that they get a complete reward, they should read these ayahs at the end of every gathering. At the end of every gathering, people need to read them. And especially after namaz, after reciting these three ayahs, they will help people get full ajr of their prayers. Now next we'll begin with Surah Saad, and this is again a short surah, 88 ayahs. It's again a Makkan surah of early period, around 6th year of Nabuwat. So Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, in the name of Allah, the most beneficent, the most merciful. Saad wal Qur'an lidh-dhikr, Saad, by the Quran, full of reminder. Now you would note over here that this is not there is a huruf-e muqattat which comes in the beginning, Saad, but this is not an ayat. So at least two muqattat, when two muqattat are there, that makes an ayat. There are three surahs in Quran which begin with one muqattat, and that is Surah Saad, Surah Qaf, and Surah Noon. Now this ayat says Saad, by the Quran, full of reminder, or this vow that is used over here is vow-e qasmiya, as they say, which is a promise. Allah has taken an oath over here that I swear by the Quran, full of reminder. So this is a zikr, it's a reminder, it's a remembrance. Why the reason why Quran is called a reminder and a zikr is because there are certain things which are generally known to us, but then they go into our subconscious. And sometimes even at the unconscious level, we go into a state of a bit of a ghaflat. And then when Quran reminds and we get jolted, and they get jolted to our memory. So what are those things? Well, they are things like Tawheed, oneness of Allah, the day of judgment, that this life will end, there will be a day of reward and punishment, importance of goodness, how it is going to impact our future life, disgust from sin. These are things, these are part of our nature. But then sometimes priority gets mixed up, and that's why Quran is a reminder. Encouragement not there. Sometimes people are, we don't encourage ourselves or each other about these things. Sometimes this heedlessness sets in, and these are problems that the reminder or the Quran overcomes. وَلِلَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا فِي عِزَّةٍ وَشِقَاقٍ, but those who disbelieve are in self-glory and opposition. Two words being used over here, two traits of the kuffar, izzat and shiqaq. Egoistic and stubborn, which is what we call people with stiff neck, adamant in not accepting the truth, knowing that this is the truth but still not accepting it because of their stubbornness and ego problem that they have. The more people have these two traits, the closer they are going to be to kufr. One of the quality that is you will see that is removed or is finished in new converts, people who from other religions convert and become Muslim. Two things that they are removed. First is zid, and the other one is ana, the ego problem, just opposition for the sake of opposition. Sometimes people say, oh, they are so sensitive, so don't say this to that or don't say that to them. This sensitivity is being referred over here. These are not likable traits at all. Or sometimes, and we shouldn't really encourage these traits, and that's the purpose of Islam. Islam is there to change the psyche of its followers, that they become open-minded and they become selfless, that they understand that all honor belongs to Allah. People may be successful in this world, but they must remember that all honor and all glory belongs to Allah. Eliminating these negative qualities of izzat and shiqaq inside people is necessary for us to even lead a happy and a successful life. Many times people do not accept that they were wrong. They know that they were wrong. Even in their daily life, they know they are wrong. But they don't accept because of these two qualities that are there inside. And Allah wants man to mature, and this is for their own good. How many generations have we destroyed before them? So they cried out, while no time was given for having any refuge. So at times, because of ego, people are willing to destroy themselves but not willing to bow down. They don't want to admit that they were wrong. They accept destruction but do not accept truth because only of ego. And they wonder that a warner has come to them from among themselves. And the disbelievers say, this is a magician liar. To discredit the messenger, did not want to accept him as a prophet? Because these people were the sardars, these people were the chiefs of Makkah. How could they accept that an orphan of yesterday who has neither a status, nor any wealth, nor any power, nor any authority would tell them as to what is right and what is wrong? Has he turned all gods into single God? It is a very strange thing indeed. These are the words of the kuffar. And they're saying, leave all these gods and accept one God. That's a very strange thing. Strange that the God of Makkah and the God of Taif would be the same. Because in the days of Jahiliyyah, they had separate gods for each city. They had separate gods for each tribe. And this was a very strange concept for them, that there is only one single God. And the leaders among them walked away saying, let's go and be staunch with your gods. Truly, this is a thing planned. So the background of this ayat is that the uncle of our Prophet ﷺ, Abu Talib, he was on his deathbed, and the chief of Quraysh came to see him, and they offered a suggestion for settlement of their disputes with our Prophet ﷺ, and they suggested that neither Prophet should challenge the authority of their idols, nor would they come into the way of worship of his God, which is our Prophet's God. So it was kind of a proposal of give and take, the mukmuka. And Abu Talib made this suggestion to our Prophet ﷺ, and there's a long saying of Prophet on this, but ultimately he said that if they recite La ilaha illallah, this is acceptable. But when this was narrated, Abu Talib told this to the chiefs of Quraysh, it was not acceptable to them. We never heard of it in the classical faith of ours. This is nothing but a false invention. Has the reminder been revealed to him from among all of us? The fact is that they are in doubt about my messenger. Rather, they have not yet tasted my punishment. So another trait of kuffar, shak, suspicion, doubt. Do they have the treasures of mercy of your Rabb, the mighty, the bestower? Who are people to comment? Who are people to decide whom Allah should choose for his prophethood? People or these sardar want a say in every matter. They must remember, people must remember, owner of everything Allah is Allah. He does not need to consult with these sardar or anyone for that matter. Allah made them, Allah made these sardars also, and they should remember that. Or do they have ownership of the heavens and the earth and what lies between them? Then let them descend to the sky by the rope. This shows how insignificant people are on this earth. Do they own any part of the heavens on the earth? Try leaving this earth. Try even leaving this earth. Their factions here is no more than a defeated army, referring to the people of Makkah, that they are nothing in comparison to the people of past who were much more mighty in power. Their great power was destroyed and now lies in ruin. Due to what? Due to izzat and due to shikak. Even before them, the people of Nu and Ad and Pharaoh and the possessors of stake or possessors of pegs. So this is again the example of the rich and mighty past nations, the Pharaoh of nails and spikes, as it is also translated, maybe because they used to crucify people in large numbers. And Samud and the people of Lut and the people of Aika, those were the confederates. All of them did nothing but declare the messengers a liar, hence my punishment became due. So no matter what the book of history, no matter what archaeology teaches us, Allah made it clear that the cause of their destruction was nothing but their disbelief in messengers. And these people are waiting for nothing but a single cry, there being no respite in it. And they say, O our Rabb, hasten on us our share before the day of reckoning. Now this may be the word of sarcasm, that it's, people were sarcastic about it. Give us the azab now, and that's being quoted over here. Isbir ala ma yaquluna wazkur abdana Dawood zil aidi innahu awwab, and bear patiently. Isbir, and that's a command given. Bear patiently with what they say, and remember our servant Dawood, the possessor of power. Surely he was ever turning, which means ever turning to Allah. Innahu awwab. So first is an advice to our Prophet, do sabr. people have previously accused messengers, and I think we look at the history of Bani Israel, they accuse Hazrat Dawood alayhi salam of false charges, even going to the extent of being adultery and premeditated murder and whatnot, and they have done that regularly with the messenger. And then innahu awwab, how do we actually turn to Allah? How do we turn to Allah and become awwab? And this is simply asking Allah for forgiveness. That's the only way. We ask Allah for forgiveness, we do istighfar. But for this, one of the important things that we have to remember is, first we must also learn to forgive other people. Are we willing to forgive other people? Now, if we are not willing to forgive other people and expect Allah to forgive us, well, that's a long shot. If we want Allah to forgive us, we should also become people who can forgive other people, especially who have wronged us. And finally, we should return to the Book of Allah in every matter of life and seek guidance from the book. We had subjugated the mountains to join him in making tasbih, pronouncing Allah's glory in the morning and sunrise. So Hazrat Dawood alayhi salam had a beautiful voice. He would recite the book of Psalm so beautifully that even mountains would praise and glorify him. And the birds as well mustered together, all were turning to him. So even the birds would join in chorus. And we made his kingdom strong and gave him wisdom and decisive speech. Has there come to you the story of litigants when they entered the sanctuary by climbing over the wall? So a whole story or incident being narrated over here. Hazrat Dawood alayhi salam had divided his week. A few days were reserved for ibadat, few for running the affairs of his empire, and few for being with his family. Now this time was for ibadat, when these two people brought a case in front of him, and they came not through the door but after scaling the wall. When they entered upon Dawood and he was uneasy of them, they said, "Do not fear, we are two litigants, one of us has wronged the other, so decide between us with truth and do not cross the limits and guide us to the straight path." So suddenly Hazrat Dawood alayhi salam saw these strangers in his private chamber, and he was not expecting anyone. So he was not unsure about their intention, and he became fearful. What you can learn from here is even messengers can have fear. And they said, "Judge between us in a just manner and be fair. This is my brother, he has 99 ewes." Ewes is a female lamb. "He has 99 ewes and I have a single ewe. Still he said, 'Give it into my charge,' and he prevailed over me in speech." So one of the men says that this partner of mine has 99 female lamb and I have only one, and still he wants the one that I have. He said, "Surely," so this is now the Hazrat Dawood alayhi salam giving his judgment. He said, "Surely he has wronged you by demanding your ewe to be added to his ewes. And surely most of the partners oppress one another except those who believe and do righteous deeds, and such people are rare." So partnerships always will have a problem. That's what Hazrat Dawood is actually telling us. And Dawood realized that we had put him to test, so he prayed to his Rabb for forgiveness, and bowing down, he fell in prostration and turned to Allah. So this is an ayat of sajda. Now, Hazrat Dawood alayhi salam immediately gave his judgment that this was injustice, that the person who has 99, he's also demanding the one that the other person has. And he says this sometimes happens in partnerships. Now, like ordinary people are tested, so are the messengers. So this was really a test was Hazrat Dawood alayhi salam. Two questions, what was the simple conclusion that he drew, or what was the correlation that he found, that he concluded that he was in error? And this is the message of this. And how did he conclude the background? Apparently Hazrat Dawood alayhi salam wanted to do something. He was about to perform some act which was not appropriate because of his high position that he enjoyed. So because of this high position and the status that Hazrat Dawood as a messenger and as a king of Bani Israel was, Hazrat Dawood alayhi salam realized that by this he is being tried by Allah. So he immediately asked for forgiveness and he fell in sajda and he turned to Allah. And so we forgave him that lapse, and surely he has a place of nearness in our presence and an excellent place of return. O Dawood, surely we have made you a vicegerent on the earth. So judge between people with truth and do not follow the selfish desires, lest that it should lead you astray from Allah's path. Surely those who go astray from Allah's path will have a severe punishment because they had forgotten the day of reckoning. I wish our judges would read these ayahs. How Allah emphasizes over here that we should judge with truth or not follow the selfish desires. We had not created the heavens and the earth and what is between them in vain. This is the thinking of those who disbelieve. So woe to the disbelievers because of the fire. Everything, every event that occurs in this earth or in this universe happens because it is so planned. Nothing is by chance. The parents of these two individuals was also to teach Hazrat Dawood alayhi salam a lesson, something so that he can correct himself. So sometimes abnormal happenings will take place in our lives also. And these are also there to warn us, to test us, or to guide us. Shall we make those who believe and do righteous deeds like those who commit mischief on the earth, or shall we treat the pious like the wicked? This is a blessed book we have revealed to you so that they deliberate in its verses, and so the men of understanding may reflect. How do we respond to a situation? Only Quran teaches. The teaching only comes from Quran. It is our response which makes a fitna, every trial a khair for us. And we bless Dawood and Sulaiman. He was an excellent servant of Allah. Surely he is ever turning. When the swift horses of high breed were presented before him in the evening, so he said, I held the love of good things from the remembrance of my Rabb until it went out of sight behind the veil. Bring them back to me. And he started passing his hand over the shanks and the legs. And indeed we tested Sulaiman, and we put on his throne a body. Then he turned. He said, O my Rabb, forgive me and bless me with a kingdom that will not be available to anyone after me. Surely you are the bountiful. Then we subjected the winds for him that blew smoothly on his command to wherever he wished. So special powers given to Hazrat Sulaiman alayhi salam, and the earlier story that is over here that we tested Sulaiman, put on a throne, a body. So he had a child, and then it had a problem, and so therefore he realized that Hazrat Sulaiman realized that his powers are also limited. So while he did have special powers to control wind, but they were all given by him to Allah. And the devil, every builder and diver. So the rebellious elements in the empire of Hazrat Sulaiman were tied down, and they worked productively and in a constructive direction. The result, and this is the reason for this was that the government was saleh, that the leader was saleh. When we have government of bad people, then even good people are unable to use their potential. And many others bound in chains. So those elements in the society during the time of Hazrat Sulaiman alayhi salam, who were uncontrollable and bent upon harming the society, were kept in chain so that they do not create lawlessness. This is our gift, so do favor or withhold it without reckoning. So Allah gave a lot to Hazrat Sulaiman alayhi salam. Now his test was to either keep everything to himself or pass on khair to the others. Surely he has a nearness to us and an excellent place of return. So after mistakes, tawbah is so necessary. That helps us come close to Allah. And remember our servant Ayub when he called his Rabb, saying, the shaitan has inflicted me with weariness and torment. So now the reminder of Hazrat Ayub alayhi salam. Hazrat Ayub alayhi salam lived around 1700 BC. He was very rich, he was a powerful man, he had a big family. Allah had given him everything from wealth to power to position to family. Shaitan came to Ayub once and he said, the reason Ayub you are thankful is because you have everything that's desirable. Every good thing, every khair has been given to you, and so you are thankful. If these things are taken away from you, I can bet that you will do kufr. Ayub accepted the challenge. And Allah accepted the prayers of Hazrat Ayub alayhi salam, and his life was transformed. He faced abject poverty, his health deteriorated, he had a skin disease, his family members left him. He was all by himself with his wife in wilderness, in abject poverty and in deep pain. And he stayed in this state for nearly 8 years. Then Hazrat Ayub alayhi salam prayed to Allah to grant him health. So Allah said, strike your foot, here is a cool water to bathe, and a drink. So a special spring gushed out with curing properties, and he regained his health. And we let him have his family and the like of them besides as a mercy from us and a reminder for people of understanding. So Allah gave him better than what he had earlier. When he gets, when he gets, that's the position of a good person. That's the position of a man, that when he gets something, he does shukr, and that makes him come closer to Allah. And when man is in difficulty, he does sabr, and that with that sabr, he comes closer to Allah. So it's kind of a win-win situation. And again, the importance of dua over here, that when in deep difficulty, when in pain, when in poverty, one should not forget the power of dua. And take a bundle of thin twigs in your hands and strike with it, and do not violate your oath. Surely we found him very enduring, an excellent servant. Surely he was frequently turning. Now it is said in Bible that when Hazrat Ayyub alayhi salam was ill, his wife had looked after him throughout the distressing time. She was the only one that remained with him. Shaitan came and suggested to his wife that if you want to return to good times, then you must ask Ayyub to worship me once. And she proposed this to Hazrat Ayyub and suggested that Hazrat Ayyub alayhi salam curses Allah. And Ayyub was so furious about that he promised that when he gets well, he would lash her, he would punish her. And now when he got better, he regretted, because she cared for him, she looked after him. It was his welfare that was always there in her mind. So he regretted that he had made this promise and this oath. So Allah provided him a way out, because he was very grateful to his wife. And remember our servant Ibrahim and Ishaq and Yaqub, and the possessors of strength and vision, spiritual strength, physical strength, mental strength, prestige in this world, and certainly prestige in the hereafter. Shaitan makes people believe that it is either here or the hereafter. That's not true. It is possible to get this world and the hereafter, both of them. Although this world should not be our aim, that's the point. I mean, it's not be the aim, should be hereafter. But if people get this world and hereafter, that's fine. The aim only for the hereafter. In the process, if you get this world, that is fine. We purified them with a pure thought, remembrance of home, which means which home? The home of the hereafter. Remembering the hereafter is so important, because that keeps our focus and our perspective right. That remains correct. And surely they are in our sight among chosen, the best of the righteous. So special people, the best of the best, chosen one, and having a high position. And remember Ismail and Al-Yasa and Zulkifl, each one of them was among the best of the righteous. This is a reminder, and surely the God-fearing will have the best place of return. For those who are conscious of Allah, this is going to be a great reminder. Everlasting gardens with their doors open for them. So now we talk of the delights of paradise. Reclining in them, calling for plentiful fruits and drinks. Everything plentiful, good rest, good food, good drink, no anxiety, no stress. And with them will be those of modest gaze and of matching ages. So your companions, the companions will be of same interest, same age, same end. But modesty is the quality that is being described over here. Modest glance or modest gaze. That's the quality. They are not bold and they are not brazen. This is what you have been promised for the day of reckoning. Surely that is a provision provided by us to which there is no end. When one gets this, when will one get all these provisions? After hard work and after striving. What you get? Good food, good drink, good companions. What else do we want? And unending, forever. Having said this, the transgressors will surely have the most evil place to return. Now, immediate contrast, choose, and we need to choose what we want to choose, right, for ourselves. Hell, they shall enter it. How evil is that place to rest? This shall be so, let them taste it boiling and intensely cold. So hell are also different types. There's a intensely boiling hell and intensely cold hell also. And other things similar to it of various kinds. So unimaginable horror of hell that are there. Here is an army rushing headlong with you. No welcome for them. Surely they are to burn in the fire. So this hell is going to be a place which is packed, which is cramped, which is hot or intensely cold and intensely crowded. They shall say to you, no welcome to you. It is you who brought this upon us. So how evil is the place to stay forever? So physical torture, mental torture, fighting, disputing, blaming. They will say, oh our Rabb, whoever has brought this on us, do increase his punishment twofold in the fire. So, these people will demand from Allah that these people led us. We just learned from them. We just copied them. We just followed them. They are the one who have put us in this mess, so give them twice the punishment. So it's so important for us. I cannot really overemphasize. Choose your friends carefully in this world. And they will say, what is the matter with us that we do not see those men whom we used to count amongst the troublemakers? Had we taken them as a laughingstock unjustly, or have our eyes missed them? Where are all those people whom we used to call fanatics, whom we used to call fundamentalists? We used to make fun of them, we used to ridicule them. Now they realize they are not there with them in hell. That most surely is the truth, the mutual quarrel of the people of fire. Say, I am only a warner, and there is no God but Allah, the one and the all-dominant. Normally when messengers are sent, they are sent to transgressing people. Hence their primary role is being described over here. Say, I am only a warner. That is of a warner. The basic message is to fix Tawheed and to fix the Aqidah of the wrongdoers. The Rabb of the heavens and the earth and what is between them, the mighty, the very forgiving. Say, it is a message of tremendous importance. You are turning away from it. I had no knowledge of the Exalt company when they were debating. Revelation is sent to me only because I am a plain warner. Now, the next ayahs that we will talk about is the story of creation of man. This is repeated in Quran 7 times, and this is the last time we are going to hear. When your Rabb said to the angels, surely I am going to create a man from clay. So once I have made him perfectly and breathed my spirit into him, you must fall down in prostration before him. So the dignity or the position of man is not because of our physical health. The fazilat is because only of the ruh. The sajda of the angel was due to the ruh. When Allah breathed his spirit into man made out of clay, at that time he asked Allah to fall down in prostration. It is the sajda that the angels did was due to the ruh. That is why man is ashraful makhlukat. Then the angels prostrated themselves, all of them together, except Iblis. He was proud and became one of the disbelievers. Shaitan is an epitome of pride, opposite of humility, opposite of humbleness. And the model in mankind of pride is of Pharaoh. He said, oh Iblis, what prevented you from prostrating yourself before what I created with my 2 hands? Are you arrogant, or were you among the lofty ones? Allah knew why the shaitan did not bow down, but he still gave him time to realize and do tawbah. Let him make a conscious decision. Give him a chance to repent. Moral over here, the moral for all of us. Making a mistake is acceptable. It's fine. People will make mistakes, but insisting on it, and especially deliberately, that is the quality of the shaitan. He said, I am better than him. You created me from fire and you created him from clay. So ego steps in over here. I am better than him. Izzat and shikak, ego and opposition, which I said earlier, quality of the kuffar. This is a shaitani attitude. I am better. Hence, this rule does not apply to me. I mean, in our society, you see how many people who say, these rules don't apply to us. People desire preferential treatment because they think they are special. And this is what shaitan tells people. This is what he teaches them. This is what he teaches man. And this is the reason why we find this class system that is prevailing in this world. And we see it everywhere, including in Muslim societies. He said, then get down from here, for surely you are outcast, the anjam of pride. Significance is not whether someone is made from fire or clay or nur. Significance is only in obedience, in itaat of Allah. And surely on you shall remain my curse till the day of judgment. So the lanat, because shaitan used his logic and his own philosophy, his own intelligence against the commandment of Allah. And that is what is called takabbur. We are not obedient to our akal. We are obedient to Allah. And then Allah's curse, Allah says, and and you shall remain in my curse till the day of judgment. What is curse of Allah? Well, the manifestation of the curse of Allah is being distant from Allah. There is no talab for hidayat, no urge for guidance, never even bother to ask for forgiveness even after sinning. He said, "O my Rabb, then give me respite till the day they are raised again." He said, "Then you have been given respite until the day of the appointed time." Now, after believing in Allah, after believing in the day of judgment, these two beliefs were not enough for salvation. But what he does, or what the shaitan does not believe in, is the itaat of Allah. The obedience is missing. There is no entrance in paradise without Amle Saleh. And there cannot be any Amle Saleh unless Allah guides us through His messengers. And shaitan, also one of the important things that you would have noted over here, shaitan does a dua to Allah. He prays to Allah. Allah immediately accepts his dua. Just because dua is kubul is not a symbol or a sign of the rahmat of Allah. If Allah's rahmat was on him, on the Iblis, then Allah would not have accepted this dua of shaitan. Because khair did not increase, instead he earned more hellfire. So if some of our duas are not accepted, this may be a blessing, or else they may have been harmful for us. So sometimes it is the blessing of Allah, the rahmah, the mercy of Allah that our duas are not accepted. He said, "Then I swear by your might that I will surely entice all of them, except your servants, from among them the purified ones, those whose intentions are pure and have followed the prescribed way." He said, "Then this is the truth, and it is always the truth that I speak, that I will definitely fill the hell with you and with those who will follow you from among all of them." And that's a promise that has been given to shaitan. Say, "I do not demand from you any reward for it, nor am I among the pretentious. This is nothing but an advice for all the worlds." And the last ayat of this surah, Surah Saad, "And most surely you will come to know about it after a time." Now we have some time, and we're going to start with Surah Az-Zumar and do few ayahs of Surah Az-Zumar. Zumar means group, and again it's a Makkan surah. So Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, in the name of Allah, the most merciful, the most beneficent. Tanzilul Kitab min Allahil Aziz al Hakim. This is a revelation of the book from Allah, the mighty, the wise. Tanzil means that these revelations have been revealed gradually with utmost care from Allah. That's the word Tanzil that comes over here. That this book is neither written by our Prophet ﷺ, nor did he request that it should be revealed onto him. This is the hukum of Allah, that this Quran was revealed onto him. Surely we have revealed the book to you with truth, so worship Allah, making your submission exclusively for him. So the definition that this book is revealed with haqq, that the definition of haqq, or which is translated as truth, will be in the light of Quran. What Quran's called haqq is truth. What it calls falsehood is false. On the day of judgment, the accountability and decisions will be in the light of this book. Remember, Allah alone deserves the exclusive submission. As for those who have adopted guardians other than him, saying, "We worship them for no other reason but because they would bring us near to Allah," surely Allah will judge between them in the matter in which they were differing. Surely Allah does not guide anyone who is a liar, ungrateful. Now this, the word deen that's come over here, deen means a complete way of life, complete code of life. These are the means and ways to reach close to Allah. If Allah willed, he could have taken, if Allah willed to take a son for himself, he would have definitely chosen anyone he wished out of what he had created. Glory be to him. He is Allah, the only one, the all-dominant. People do not need to find ways to make man son of Allah. If Allah had wished, he could have made a son. This is another form of shirk. He created the heavens and the earth for just purpose. He wraps the night over the day, and he wraps the day over the night, and he puts the sun and the moon under his command, each of them moving for an appointed term. Remember, he is the mighty, the forgiving. Now, when these ayahs were revealed, the dominant view was that the earth is flat and the stars and the sun and the moon are rotating around it. And the Quran uses a word over here, he wraps around, implied that both sun and moon are in motion. And then this ayat also says, and under his command, each of them moving for an appointed term, which means the sun and the moon are appointed for moving for an appointed term. He created you from a single person, then created its mate from it, its mate, and sent down for you 8 pairs of cattle. He creates you in the wombs of your mothers, creation after creation in 3 layers of darkness. That is Allah your Rabb. To Him belongs the whole kingdom. There is no God but He. Then where are you being diverted away? So beginning of all creation was from a single being. That's what also science also concludes. That is, science also says changes takes place in appearance depending upon the environment. So genetic structure of everything is the same, but it does transform and change because of the environment that it is exposed. If you disbelieve, then surely Allah is independent of you. However, He does not like ungratefulness in His slaves. And if you are grateful, He is pleased with you. And no bearer of burden shall bear the burden of another. Then to your Rabb is your return. So He will tell you about what you used to do. He is aware of whatever lies in the hearts. Accept or don't accept. Allah is Ghani. Does not need acceptance of people. People obey it, it's for their own good. If they do not obey, well, it is their loss. And when man is afflicted by pain, he calls his Rabb, turning to Him passionately. Thereafter, when he blesses him with some favor from Him, he forgets that for which he is calling him earlier, and sets a partner for Allah, so that he leads others astray from His way. Say, enjoy your disbelief for a while. Surely you are the inmates of fire. The moment people are in difficulty, they call Allah. Not just Muslims, but all people. And when Allah gives ni'mats and ease, people become heedless. All the blessings suffocate them. Instead of giving them life, the blessings are suffocating. It's like a silkworm. Silkworm, it keeps wrapping silk around itself. Ultimately, it results in its death. Can the one who worships during the hours of night, prostrating himself and standing fearing the hereafter, and having hopes in his Rabb's mercy, say, can those who know and those who do not know become equal? It is only the people of understanding who are receptive to advice. So hope on return. This is Quran is teaching us how important hope is. When there is no hope, then man does not do good deeds. Man doesn't do any deeds. The position of mu'min is between hope and fear. Both are motivators. Hope is also a motivator. Fear is also a motivator. If there is too much fear and no hope, then despondency sets in. Say, O my slaves who believe, fear your Rabb. Those who do good deeds in this world will have a good return, and the earth of Allah is wide. Certainly those who observe patience will be given their reward in full without measure. So every hijrat, every time people do a migration, that requires sabr. And Islam is not earthbound. What Islam teaches us is leave places, leave society, leave friends who are rebellious to Allah. When life is purified, difficulties will be encountered. There's no doubt about it. This is part of the purification process. Sometimes trials and tribulations will come, and they are an indicator that the purification process is working. Say, I have been ordered to worship Allah, making my submission exclusively to Him, and I have been ordered to be the first of those who submit. So our Prophet ﷺ is being made to say, this is not an ego issue. Prophet is being told that I too am a follower. Prophet is also a follower, obedient to Allah's commandments. Say, if I were to obey my Rabb, I fear the punishment of the great day. No one is above the law. Say, it is Allah whom I worship, making my submission exclusive to Him. So Quran says, how do you actually purify your deen? Well, where is the purest water? The purest water is at the source of the fountain. So if we want to purify our deen, we must go back to from where the deen originated, and that is from our Prophet. That is where we need to go back to get the purest deen. Serve then what you wish besides Him. Say, indeed the losers are those who will lose their selves and their people on the day of resurrection. Beware, that is really an obvious loss. So a warning And Quran says people will see the result. For them there are canopies of fire on top of them and covering underneath them. With that Allah makes His servant fear. O slaves of mine, fear me. And those who abstain from worshipping the Taghut and turn fervently to Allah, for them there is good news. So give the good news to my servants. Taghut, the word was used for those who abstain from worshipping the Taghut. Taghut means anything that encourages man from baghawat, from rebellion, and rebellion from Allah. Those who listen to the words, what is said, then follow the best of it. Those are the one upon whom Allah has guided, and those are the ones who possess knowledge. Quran inspires, but action, that is our job. That is what we will be judged on. That people will actually follow the best of it, not look for loopholes, but do amal which in the best possible manner. Is he against whom the decree of punishment is justly due? Can you save someone who is in the fire? But for those who fear their Rabb, there are chambers with chambers built on top of them, with rivers running from underneath them. This is Allah's promise. Allah does not go back on any promise. Have you not seen that Allah sent down water from the sky, then He makes them flow in form of a spring on the earth, then He brings forth with it crops of different colors, and afterwards they wither, and you see them turning yellow, then He makes them chaff. Surely in that there is a lesson for people of understanding. Is one whose heart Allah has opened up for Islam, and consequently he proceeds in a light from his Rabb. Woe to those whose hearts are hardened against the remembrance of Allah. Those are wandering in open error. So this is the mercy of Allah, that the hearts are receptive to Islam, and the sign that a person has yaqeen and belief that my well-being is in accepting the wishes of Allah. Allah has sent down the best discourse, a book containing subjects resembling each other, mentioned again and again, shivered from which are the skins of those who have awe of their Rabb. Then their skins and their hearts soften to the remembrance of Allah. This is a guidance of Allah with which He brings to the right path whomsoever He wills. As for the one whom Allah lets go astray, for him there is no one to guide. Is he then who protects himself with his face against the awful punishment of the day of resurrection? Then it will be said to the wrongdoers, have a taste of what you used to earn. So you can see in this ayah, there's a kind of an incomplete question, right? The answer is not provided, and the reason why answer is not provided is so that it triggers our imagination. Those before them had also rejected, and consequently the punishment came upon them from where they did not perceive. So don't resist, don't oppose, don't defy the Quran. If people challenge this book, it will be their loss. So Allah makes them taste disgrace in the worldly life, and of course the punishment of the hereafter is much greater, only if they knew. And certainly we have set forth for people all sorts of examples in the Quran so that they may remember. People are different. Some get motivated by some examples, others by others. Sometimes Quran puts fear in people, sometimes it puts hopes, because it wants all people to succeed. Through an Arabic Quran containing no divergence, perhaps they will be God conscious. There's nothing crooked in this book, but when people try to evade this book, they often adopt the crooked paths. Allah has given an example. There is a man owned by some partners having rivalry with each other, and on the other hand there is a man solely owned by a single man. Can they be equal in comparison? Praise be to Allah, but most of them do not know. So simple example of Tawheed, everyone would prefer one master. No one would want to be owner of people who are partners and have rivalry with each other. No one would be wanting to be pulled in opposite directions. Verily, you are to die, and they are to die. At the end, that's the end game. Everyone dies. So the last ayat of this evening, ayat number 31. ثُمَّ إِنَّكُمْ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ إِنْدَ رَبِّكُمْ تَخْتَصِمُونَ. After that, on the day of resurrection, you will surely place your disputes before your Rabb. So Barakallahu lana wa lakum fil Quran al-Azim wa nafana wa iyyakum bil ayati wa zikril hakim.